Hello and welcome to this mini lesson from inside the PE Portal. Today we are going to be looking at health and fitness, and we're going to start by recapping the definition of what health actually means, which is the complete physical, mental, social and emotional well-being. It's not just the absence of illness. So it's not just the absence of illness, it's the complete well-being, physically, mentally, socially and emotionally, not just the absence of illness. Okay, that's the definition that you need to know. What we're going to look at today are the actual factors that contribute to these three areas: physical, mental and social well-being. And then to finish, we'll look at how fitness ties into health as well. So we're going to start over here with physical health. And if we can achieve physical health, what does this actually look like? Well, this looks like a healthier heart. So if I put decreased risk of cardiovascular diseases, CVDs. So decreased risks of cardiovascular diseases or coronary heart diseases. Coronary heart diseases. So a decreased risk of high cholesterol causing blockages or ruptures in the blood vessels. A decreased risk of arterio and arteriosclerosis occurring inside of those vessels. Healthier walls of the cardiac muscle, all of which can contribute to better cardiovascular function. Next, we have stronger bones. We have better muscles. We have improved energy systems, all of which can contribute to everyday living becoming easier. So everyday life becomes easier. So things like walking up the stairs, things like reaching up for something in a high cupboard, things like carrying things around the house, daily chores like sweeping or the washing up or whatever it might be, everything becomes easier because your systems are a little bit more tuned. The muscles are a little bit more refined and able to cope with tension. They're a little bit more responsive. Our energy systems are a little bit better so that we can go into higher intensity and then recover quicker and not feel out of sorts for prolonged periods of time. By doing weight-bearing activities, we might have stronger, denser bones that are less prone to fractures or breakages. And like we said, cardiovascular diseases, coronary heart diseases, we can start to avoid those inside of our body. What else? Well, we have our mental benefits. If we participate in sport, in exercise, in physical activity, what are some of the mental benefits that we get? Well, first of all, we've got this idea of stress relief. So I'll put stress, but what I mean is stress relief because we are expending energy. It might involve high speeds or velocity, exerting force onto an object. And if someone's been experiencing perhaps some frustration in their life or their day-to-day living, then this might be a great opportunity to de-stress and try and get some of that tension out. It's also going to help people deal with emotions. Within sport, we could experience huge highs, devastating lows. We might experience frustration. We might experience tension or that nail-biting feeling inside of sport because it comes down to the wire. We might start to experience progress. And each time we experience an emotion like this, it trains us to deal with it in the future, so that when something in our day-to-day life starts to happen not the way that we intended it to, we're better equipped to deal with it. It's less likely to put us out or put us off. So we become better at dealing with our emotions because we're exposed to a wide range of emotions within sport and activity, and we have to deal with them there, so we become better at dealing with them in our day-to-day life. If we do experience some progress, then we might start to experience some satisfaction. It can be very satisfying applying your efforts and then seeing results or experiencing results. Someone might have found it difficult to climb up 2 flights of stairs to get to the office. But with a little bit of exercise, by walking the dog or going to the gym a couple of times a week, hitting our guidelines, which I'll talk about in a moment, they become a little bit more satisfied when they can suddenly break into a bit of a jog, going up 2, 3 or 4 flights of stairs and they're not even out of breath. That can be satisfying, which is very good for someone's mental well-being. So we can unwind, we can deal with our emotions better, we can experience progress and satisfaction, and we also get that feel-good hormone of serotonin, where exercise induces the release, the secretion of serotonin inside of our minds, inside of our brains, which makes us feel good. Social. How do we benefit socially by trying to achieve a healthy, active lifestyle? Well, we learn communication skills, especially if we're involved in a team activity. We might have to develop leadership skills. If you take on the role of captaincy or some form of organisational role in whatever you're doing, you might start to have to lead and showcase or be the role model for perhaps younger or novice performers. It's a great chance to meet people. And the chances are you're meeting people with similar interests. If you are engaging in an activity that you enjoy, you're more likely to meet people who also enjoy that same activity. So there's going to be some commonality there. And if you meet people, you're more likely to build friendships, which is fantastic for moral support, for humour, for enjoying some time, and for building a bit of a social life. So you move away from being an isolated individual. You will start to meet people that you get on with because there's some similar interests. You might then start to develop some friendships, which might mean that you start to do things beyond the activity and beyond your day-to-day lifestyle. So you add things into your life. Now, I obviously crossed out illness there because that's not what we want. And if we achieve all of these things, then we are more likely to remain illness-free. But something which I do want to touch on here is how fitness can also improve. So this is beyond our physical benefits, which are a little bit more holistic. Fitness, we start to get components of fitness development. We start to get stronger, faster, powerful. We start to experience improvements which can make us compete at a higher level. We might even start to, a good phrase, self-actualize, which is a fancy way of saying reach your potential or aspire for your potential. We've touched on it before in goal setting. To self-actualize means to picture how good you possibly could be and to gradually move towards that level. And if you are doing that, that process could be bringing about that satisfaction. So fitness will start to improve, the components of fitness, the speed, the strength, the power, the flexibility. And if you're able to improve all of those, you're less likely to experience injury and you're more likely to experience all of these physical benefits that go along with it. Now, I did say I would cover the guidelines at the end, which I'll put in a box down here by itself. And what you need to know are two guidelines for children and adults. So 0 to 18, roughly speaking, there are some slightly different recommendations for babies and young children, but for your exam, you don't need to know those. But 0 to 18 is 60 minutes a day. And ideally, those 60 minutes, be it on each day or 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, it should be components of fitness related, skill related, bone and muscle related. So what I mean by bone and muscle is a little bit of resistance training. So we should be trying to develop the bones, develop the muscles. Not too much, I'm not saying go and weight train, but it should be vigorous enough that the components of fitness are being a little bit more pushed. The skill level, this is the time to acquire the skills, so getting movement actions correct. And some form of bone and muscle tension should be experienced to make sure that they are developing healthily. And then in our adult population, so 18 plus, we should aim to achieve about 150 minutes per week or 30 minutes 5 times per week. So 30 minutes 5 times per week. And the aim here is to try and incorporate a bit of strength training, so a bit of weight-bearing activity, just like with children for the bone and the muscle development, but also to incorporate more lifestyle choices. So things like commutes to work, things like home life. Are you going for a walk after work, or are you sitting down and watching telly? Are you cycling to work, or are you driving to work? Are you getting off one stop earlier to finish the commute off with a walk, or are you getting dropped off right by your doorstep? Are you taking the lift, or are you taking the stairs? So this activity of moderate to vigorous intensity should require or should include some form of strength development, so weight-bearing activities, but more so lifestyle. If sport can be included, then sport would be considered additional. So 30 minutes of 5 days a week of moderate intensity lifestyle activity. And if there can be some weight bearing, fantastic. For children, at least 60 minutes a day of movement, moderate to vigorous. And within that, each component of fitness should be incorporated or tested. The skill actions and the movement actions should be developed, and then some weight bearing actions and movements to develop the bone and the muscle inside their body. But that is an overview of health and fitness. Remember the definition: complete physical, mental, social, emotional well-being, not merely the absence of illness. And then if we do have a pursuit of achieving a healthy lifestyle, a healthy active lifestyle, then we have our physical benefits, our mental benefits, our social benefits, and then sort of higher brow fitness development. Our components of fitness begin to improve, we might start to be able to compete, we might start to be able to move towards our potential. How can someone do it? They can aim for their guidelines. If they're a child, 60 minutes a day. If they're an adult, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or 150 minutes in total per week. But that is baseline. Anything more is fantastic. And that is that. So I hope you found that useful, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye for now.